Okay, cool. So I am hugely honored to introduce the next speaker, who is Rickesh Lakhani. He's the executive director at Future Possibilities for Kids. And I have to have a true confession here. I actually previewed Rikesh's presentation, and I don't want to give it away. I won't even say who he's talking about. But the thing that I love is that, first of all, Rickesh tells great dad jokes, and also he talks about a whole other world that raised a whole bunch of money to do a whole lot of good. Um, and without further ado, I'm going to let Rickesh talk to you about that. Introducing Rickesh Lakhani.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rickesh Lakhani. Thank you to Sophie for this platform for fundraisers from all around the world to put their egos aside and promote innovation and celebrate other organizations. I'm really honored to be a part of this. First of all, be prepared for dad jokes galore. I won't even notice the difference because when I tell these jokes in person, in real life, it's dead silence anyways. And also, I'm going to be going low tech because I'm sick of PowerPoint, so I'm mixing it up. You'll see what I mean in just a second. I'm here today to answer the age-old question that has plagued society for centuries. How can a plumber riding a dinosaur help raise money for children? Well, me and Mario and Yoshi right here are going to talk about that today on IWITOT, which is a lot of fun to say. Just try it. Say it a few times fast. It's a lot of fun. IWITOT. I have been a video gamer for my whole life, and it wasn't always in the mainstream. I would get made fun of, or people just wouldn't understand why I was so into this. I never believed that one day video gamers would actually become the heroes that we played in the games. I want to talk to you about the Extra Life platform at www.extralife.org, where their motto is play games, heal kids. This is the virtual peer-to-peer fundraising event before there were virtual peer-to-peer fundraising events, before the pandemic. This is an online space which unites thousands of gamers from around the world to support children's hospitals in Canada and the US. But it didn't start that way. This began when the community rallied to support a 15-year-old girl named Victoria Enman in Orange, Texas, who was battling acute lymphoblastic leukemia. After hearing about her numerous hospital visits and bouts with the disease, Jeremy Adams, a radio host at the time and an avid gamer, shared her story, and the gaming community stepped up and began sending her video games to help keep Victoria's spirits up, which she loved because she was a gamer herself. Unfortunately, she tragically passed away, and Jeremy wanted to do something more in her legacy. So Extra Life was born as a 24-hour video game marathon to raise money for the hospital that treated Victoria. In the first 2 years, hundreds of gamers raised over $300,000 US from 12,000 donors. But this was expanding and reaching new geographical audiences. So many community members wanted to raise money for hospitals that were closer to home. And that's when the partnership with Children's Miracle Network that represent hospitals across North America was born. And then it was on like Donkey Kong. And due to the scalability and minimal infrastructure of this, it blew up. I'm going to share more about how this campaign is doing in just a little bit. Now, I acknowledge that you might say this is daunting, you might not see the appeal of video games or how they apply to your audience, or you might be asking, what am I going to learn from this? But I think we should always be interested in what other organizations and initiatives are doing that we can adapt and modify and learn from and bring into our work. When it comes to creativity, don't fall prey to this scarcity mindset that's plaguing our sector. Just, I'm going to take that. This is what I want to do with the scarcity mindset. Crunch it up, throw it away, just get rid of it, right? Let's be open. So what were the things that I really liked about this that made it special, other than the fact that I love video games so much that I legitimately had kids just so that I'd have an excuse to keep playing video games? It started organically. Many ideas do that. Great ideas start small, there's a story, there's passion behind them, and that's the foundation on which they're built. If we're truly fostering innovation and creativity, ideas are going to come from many places in our organizations, from people who care. So let's let those ideas breathe. They also really capitalized on market trends. Video games, esports, gamification, streaming to raise money, these are very significant and growing. And for anyone not believing that they're a real deal, Dr. Lupo, a very famous gamer, raised over $2 million for St. Jude's Hospital in 24 hours in December of 2019. They also were building a unique and evolving experience for their audience. So one thing that they did, which is quite interesting, is they actually managed to create the gamification of gaming. So that's your Inception moment. That's a little spinny thing from the movie Inception. And I was like, wow, this is bending my mind a little bit. But what they did is they had badges and real life swag you could unlock and special items and avatars you could have that rewarded you for being part of the community. And they also did something that I feel we can do more of in our sector, which is rewarding loyalty. You got to have more flair every time you came back and fundraised for another year that you could show off to your friends. And every year they would add some new elements based on trends and feedback and enhancing the user experience. I think sometimes we may take people for granted and keep doing the same thing over and over again, assuming they're going to be happy. And I think we're missing something there. They also kept up to date with the technology, and again, something I think our sector needs to think about, but they partnered with Twitch, which is a streaming platform where as you're watching a video game stream, you can donate and it pops up on the screen as to who gave and how much. It's pretty cool. They didn't make all this change overnight. It's many years in the making, and change does not come in a flash. It's continued effort over time. The other thing that they did is they really know their audience. They knew that this is both an existing and growing audience and that they could create a sense of community, but also leverage the existing community of gamers that were already there. The founder knew what the community needed. They didn't pander to the community. This was built based on a deep knowledge of what people were looking for. They even called the gamers heroes, which speaks to what video gamers and perhaps donors want to see themselves as. They turned virtual accomplishments into real world accomplishments, doing good for others. They also really knew what people valued. Many people might say, I don't care about a virtual badge or a special avatar, but this audience really does, and it's a true source of pride for them. And that's another lesson for me in don't go just with what you like. Now, when it comes to results, this initiative definitely gets a high score. They had famous gamers taking part in adding profile to local healthcare needs. Some of these gamers have followings of tens of thousands of people, and so it's a great way to reach new audiences. And they did reach new audiences. Sometimes we are not always going beyond maybe 2 degrees of separation of our base, but they reached over 130,000 different heroes who were gaming for good from 42 countries, and they raised funds from over 250,000 donors. And the money raised, in the first 2 years I mentioned, they raised just over $300,000 US. By 2020, the cumulative total was over $70 million raised for hospitals in numerous North American communities. Now think of all the good that's going to do. And this continues to this day, and in full force during the pandemic, it's very sustainable. So whether you think that video games are the answer or not, I think this brings up some really important questions that we need to keep asking ourselves. Where do you find unique and growing communities to support your cause? What can you do to tap into trends that align with your impact? And how can you make people fundraising on your behalf feel special and feel part of a community? To me, that's really the most important lesson out of all this. Now, if you're thinking, I can't go there, I can't tackle this, I'm going to bring out I have backup pieces of a scarcity mindset piece of paper. I'll bring them out. I'll crumple them up again as a reminder. We really need to be open because you never know which idea is going to be the one that takes off. I really hope that you can see now how a plumber on riding a dinosaur can help raise money for children, and maybe with a little help from a really fast hedgehog like my man Sonic over here. As a lifelong gamer, I wish I'd thought of that. And to all of my fundraisers out there, stay up and keep pushing for better because what you do matters. Thank you so much.
Wow, really, truly amazing. Like, I'm so loving these presentations and the high tech, you know, visual props.
Yes.
Those were great.
Oh, that was amazing. I mean, from start to finish, that was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely, truly. And I will tell you that we're so wrapped up in the questions and answers that we're running a tiny, tiny bit behind. So what I'm going to do, if it's okay with you, I'm just going to jump right into the questions for Rickesh.
Do it. Let's do it.
Cool. Hey, Rickesh.
Hey everyone, how are you?
We loved your presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, really great. Really great. One of the things, like, I'm writing down things in all caps as you're speaking, like heroes, feel part of a community, reward your audience, know your audience, reward loyalty, just so much to unpack there. From gaming is so cool. I don't know, it's great. So I just want to jump really quick into this. I've got one question to start with. So someone said 70 million is incredible. How did the partnership raise money?
Yes, good question. So the primary thing was people playing video games and inviting their network to watch them or support them playing. I've had a couple of friends do this, and they're raising, a few $1,000s just locally. So it really is that simple. It's like I'm playing video games for a great cause. Come watch me play live, and especially if they're friends with other gamers. But even if they're not, it's sort of like when you have those walks and the runs and the bike rides, which are all great in their own way. It's like, hey, I don't want to do those things, but I'm still doing something of value. That's something that takes skill and that I've been practicing and that I'm really good at, and I'm doing this for a good cause. So that's really was a peer-to-peer driven initiative for that 70 million, which is quite amazing.
Is it ongoing today? Still underway?
It absolutely is. And like I said, it's very sustainable in this pandemic because of the nature of this. That it's very much full force at this point, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking when you said people come watch me live, and then I'm thinking, well, nobody can do anything live anymore right now. So virtual, virtual world, virtual. I mean, it's great. Virtual fundraising, so cool.
So innovative. So
Yeah,
innovative.
yeah,
As well
really,
as
truly amazing.
it was awesome. And thank you for, crushing up the scarcity mindset and throwing that in the trash. I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah,
Appreciate it. Thanks
yeah.
for your
I think
time.
you should send those out as conference swag. You know what I mean? Just hand them out to people.
As you're coming in, crumple this when you feel ready to let it go. That's
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
It feels good. It's therapeutic. It's therapeutic. You should try
It
it.
is. It is. Throw it in the wood stove and let it go.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much, Rickesh.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thank you,
So
Rickesh.
it was a real pleasure. Thank you.
Amazing.
Awesome. Take care.